So, how many acts do you book for the Hyde Park Jazz Fest?
It's 35 concerts in 2 days on 13 stages.
So a bunch. So I'm sure more than that number of people want gigs at the Hyde Park Jazz Fest. How do you decide who plays and who doesn't? Notice I'm asking this question while I put up the slide of me playing at her festival.
Right.
I can tell you how that happened, but that's another story.
Does anybody out there want to be an artistic director or like a curatorial type person with music? Booking agent? Concert promoter? Okay. Well, developing your own approach to curating an artistic direction or presenting is serious business. Like, you really need to think about that a lot. And it keeps me up all the time because I'm always rethinking and thinking again and what am I doing? And so, for example, if I have 35 concerts, or if you're running a club down the road, or becoming a producer, or even picking you want to be an agent and you're picking your artists, you want to think a lot about what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? So if I have 35 concerts to produce in an event that happens once a year, every decision I make about those 35 concerts probably means there's like another 50 people that are not getting that gig, right? And so for me, I'm always starting with the music and the context. So I book the Hyde Park Jazz Festival because it's the Hyde Park Jazz Festival. It's a totally different approach that I might have than if I was booking a bunch of clubs or a big venue or a different festival. So I'm always thinking about location and context. Like, if I'm doing it here, what matters here? So thinking about who's playing, who's doing interesting stuff around the city, what are the different styles that people are playing, and I want to have a broad audience, so I want to think about having a diverse group, different styles of the music. We have a dance stage, we have experimental stuff, we have like blues inflected stuff, we have Latin, we have all these different elements to think about. And then also, you got to think about age diversity. So I want to have artists who are senior, veteran, important artists, as well as emerging artists and young people. I want to make sure that there's women band leaders and musicians, as well as the guys. I want to make sure that there's that the festival remains firmly connected to the origin story of the music, so the African American experience and artists making work today. And then also thinking about every venue. So each venue has different acoustics. Each venue has a different size. So you're not really going to put a band with a huge horn section in a room that's really super live, right? So I have to think a lot about each different venue and what would sound good there. And then at different times of the day, I have to think about different energy levels that I want to have. And then if I have a huge venue, then I need to have somebody that's more famous. So there's a zillion factors. And then also, I want people to come and stay for a lot of the day. So I have to make individual pathways so that the people that are interested in one kind of music can go from show to show to show to show, and that the shows aren't all at the same time. So there's it's like a Rubik's Cube.
Right, and each one of those decisions sort of pushes on the other or influences. So how many of the acts that you book each year are things that you got some cold solicitation of, hey, I'd like to play your festival?
Not very many. Although I will be honest, I listen to absolutely every submission I get. But for the most part, I am pretty aware of who's out there playing. Now, sometimes people will submit something, and I'm like, that's pretty good. I like it. I don't have a space for it this year, but it's on my mind, and I have a notebook. I write down like people I want to think about the next year and stuff like that. But I go to, as y'all will if you do this kind of work, it's like I go to a lot of different festivals around the country. I am always out listening to music at shows, and then I just listen to stuff all the time too, so I try to keep up. And then of course I have colleagues that are doing the same thing, so we're all talking about it also. So you feel like you've turned a lot of rocks by the time you get to that.
So if somebody submits something to you, what are some characteristics of the good submissions? What makes things stand out?
Yeah. Okay. Well, a couple pieces of advice. I get a lot of submissions where someone has paid exactly no attention to what the festival is, right? So they're like writing to me as if it's just a totally different thing than what it is. That takes my time. It makes me feel like there's no respect for the festival itself. And so that, do your homework if you're submitting your work to people. Understand what it is that they do, right? What is their festival?
And the same for clubs or whatever.
Clubs, absolutely. It's the same no matter what. Like, pay attention. Another thing is master the art of a 3-sentence note, right? I get notes that are like emails that are this long. There's no way I'm going to read it. It's just too long. I'm too busy. You have to really think about being concise and sort of introducing yourself very quickly, saying what you do, and giving me the chance to listen to your stuff, right? And things that do work if you're relatively or mostly unknown is if you've played with people who are known, or if you have contacts or something with people who are known, that is very helpful because it does make me go, okay, well, if that person's played with so-and-so, then it takes me to a different place quickly, right? So I think the things that work the most for me are when someone writes to me as if they've paid some attention to what the festival is, and that they're concise, that they give me the music that they want me to listen to, a link to their bio, but not like a 1,000-page note about how great they are. That does not help me.
And don't be afraid to drop a name, but only if it's legit. I had a conversation with Manny Fresh on the corner by the Hi-Ho. Does not mean I worked with Manny Fresh, right?